Hello everyone, today we're going to be doing the Serpentine belt and the idler pulleys on the Volvo V8 motor. This motor is on the S80 and the XC90, but this video specifically will be for the S80. The Serpentine belt part number is 6PK 2523, and the idler pulleys, which there are 3 of them, is 31216198. I will leave links in the description, and I will leave a list of all the items you need to do this repair. You won't need to remove the cover until we move the power steering out of the way, but first off we're going to remove the front cover and the side cover, but I already moved the side cover, so I'll show you how to remove the front cover and move this over so it's out of the way for us. Let's see here. Alright. So to take this off, basically unscrew the cap, put it off to the side, and just pull up. You can leave the dipstick in, it won't move. Make sure that there's nothing there. That off to the side. Put your cap back on. And there is 2 T25 Torx bits. There's one right next to the cap, right here. So, take that one out. Put that off to the side on your cart or whatever. And then there is one back here. It'll be hidden by the lines. So mine still has a piece of it attached, but there's the second one. And then to move the power steering, basically it's not attached to anything. So basically you want to lift up on the reservoir, pull the hose past the motor mount, and just pull it up gently so that you don't break this. Just twist this. It's out of the way. You will grab your 3/8 socket or ratchet right here. Grab both extensions and the 13mm, and start taking out the motor mount bolts. Also, when you move this out of the way, you can remove that little piece. It slides out. What I like to do is, we're going to remove this mount actually later, but what I like to do is I like to put these bolts back so I don't forget where they came from and they're not sucking up space on a cart or something, or it could be useful for something. Goes back. So the 3 bolts on the side of the motor mount are right here, right down here, which you can't see too well on the camera, and then there's one right at the front. Just take your extensions off, move this coolant line out of the way a little bit, there is your motor mount for the S80. Put that off to the side, make sure all the bolts are in it so you don't lose them. To use your 8mm and take the 2 bolts off your power steering line, which are right here, and there's one down here by the tensioner. So I want to grab your 8mm deep socket, your shorter one. Do this one first. Make sure you don't drop those, but there's little screws for them. I'll grab that later. And for the second one, you're going to need both extensions along with there's a little bracket. Then we can set this off to the side. So now we're going to remove this engine mount here, so it's completely out of the way and it's a lot easier for us to get to the tensioner and some of the pulleys. But first we have to move this expansion reservoir out of the way over by our power steering pump over here. And to do that, we need to take an 8mm, I'm just using the deep socket, and remove this bolt right here. So, down there. Just a small bolt. And put the bolt off to the side. And it's just on this tab right here. So basically just lift it up, swap it around, or what I do is just to hold it, because all we're doing is removing that bolt and then we can put it back in its place. And you want to get a 15mm to remove this motor mount. So put that on there. There's the bolt, which I put back so I don't forget where it is. And motor mount, we can put this off to the side. Now we can move this back and put the bolt back in for now, just to hold it there. Call on something. And so we don't lose track of that bolt. Alright, let's see here. We're going to take off the tensioner now, or the belt, and there's a bolt all the way back here, in between, my finger's right on it, in between the tensioner here and this little circle. There's a 19mm bolt, and you can't necessarily reach it with a 3/8 inch or 1/2 inch breaker bar with a 19mm. So what I found is you can use a 19mm short socket with a 3/8 inch breaker bar, or you can use the Volvo tool, which you can either buy online or I believe you can get it from a parts store. But you put it on that bolt down there and just basically a jack handle to use it as leverage to pull up the tensioner. And you just want to do slow, steady pressure to loosen the belt, just enough to slip that belt right off. And after you do that, just let it back down slowly. And if you want, you can take the tensioner apart at this point, but I already replaced the pulley on it, and the pulley is actually a 17 millimeter, which is this bolt here, and it's counterclockwise. So the same way we were doing the tensioner to loosen the belt, you would be going that way. So you would be pulling it like this to loosen it, and then to tighten it, just do it the opposite way. The secondary pulley, which I am replacing, there's 3 total, and I already replaced the belt. I will show you how to do the bottom half of the motor of taking the belt off and putting it back on. But the second pulley, you literally just pull it off. Jack up the car. Make sure you secure it with a jack stand. I have one right under the control arm back here. Take all your lug nuts out. Take the wheel off. We have 5 Torx bit. There's one right here, here, and up here. And we got 2 10 millimeters. One you can't see, which is right up here, and right there. So let's start by removing the Torx bit. Now switch over to 10 mil. Take these 2 out. Now you basically want to pull the liner down. You actually want to push it up and then down up top so that you can unclip it. Then take it off. 2 10 mils. Flip it around the back of your rotor there. You want to put your block of wood underneath the motor. I do it on the edge of it just so it doesn't affect it too much. In this area, to get the belt off, we have all this slack here. You want to take these 2 bolts out right here, and it's a 13 mil. Once again, you might need your extension along with, you also might need the use of the jack handle to loosen them. There's a second bolt. Now you want to start jacking the motor up slowly. At this point you can get the belt off, and I'll show you. It's a tight squeeze, but there. And then to put it back on, just slip on the new belt. 12 millimeter 5-point socket. Okay, so I wouldn't really recommend this because you have to jack the car up an insane amount. Like, you're gonna need help with this. But I did get the pulley out. But look how everything is back there. And it just barely came out because of the way the frame is here. So I'm going to change this real quick and we'll get back to what we were doing. Okay, so now that we got the belt on and we got the motor back down and we got the pulley right here back on, and there's the other pulley, which is right here. Make sure your belt is looped correctly. I will add a picture on how it should be looped around each of the things. Make sure the belt is tight and it's aligned on everything. And just start slowly adding tension. And soon enough, there will be enough tension on that to where you can slip the belt on and let go gently. Take your socket off. Don't forget to put these in. They are for the power steering line. And I almost forgot myself. I'll put these back. Second one's a little bit easier to get to. It's right here. We gotta take this out, swing it around, so we can put that motor mount back in. So, take this back out. Just lift it up, swing it, and tuck it. Alright, we're good. Take the motor mount bolt out, get your motor mount here, and remember it's a 15 millimeter. I use a 15 mil 5-point because, or 6-point, because it gives you more grip on the bolt itself other than a 12-point, which might strip the bolt head. Make it nice and tight. Put your steering reservoir back where it was. Final stretch. Then lower motor mount. Drop one bolt in. Bolt number 2. And bolt number 3. Maybe not. Put it down first. Like that. Finagle it on. Your Torx bit right here. Remember, there's one up front. Lastly, we got 2 more things left, and that is move your brake or your power steering back, pull it back underneath your motor mount, back under there, back on the little hook over here, pop your cap, and put your cover back on. Make sure not to bend the dipstick, which I have done a few times. Just pop it back on. Also, put your tire back on. And that's pretty much it. And then next thing you want to do is make sure and that's basically it. Just make sure all your tools and anything like the pulleys and everything are out of the way. Next thing you want to do is make sure all your tools and everything is out of the way and clear of the motor. And next thing you want to do is just test it to make sure everything works. As you can see, everything worked out here for us, and the noise that was coming from the engine is gone. So the pulleys did the trick. That one pulley is a little bit trickier than the others, so I would possibly have that one pulley replaced by a dealership, or maybe have a friend help you replace that one and jack up the motor and whatnot. And all the parts cost me around $220, $230 with shipping. And I will leave the links all down below. And like, subscribe, comment if you got any issues, let me know. And I will see you next video.